Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine walking into a kitchen where the radio hums softly, a pot simmers on the stove, and the smell alone tells you dinner is almost ready. No screens, no rush, just family, food, and time moving a little slower. These meals didn't just fill stomachs, they built memories. And somehow, we forgot them. The 1950s dinner table told a very different story from the meals we eat today. It wasn't about trends, superfoods, or fancy presentation. It was about nourishment, thrift, and togetherness. These were the foods that sustained families through post-war prosperity, foods that showed up week after week, quietly shaping an entire generation. Not gourmet creations, not restaurant-inspired plates, just honest, filling meals made with care. So what happened to the foods every family once knew by heart? Let's start with liver and onions. In the 1950s, every mother knew liver was one of the most nutritious foods you could put on the table. Packed with iron and vitamins, it was considered essential for growing children and hard-working fathers. Budgets were tight, and wasting food wasn't an option. The secret, passed from one kitchen to another, was soaking the liver in milk for an hour before cooking. That simple step softened the strong taste kids complained about. Thin slices were dredged in seasoned flour and fried quickly, then topped with sweet caramelized onions. The smell filled the house, unmistakably home-cooked. Fathers praised the meal. Children learned that eating well didn't always mean eating sweets. This dish quietly taught a generation that health sometimes comes before comfort and that care can be cooked into food. Then there were salmon croquettes. One can of salmon could feed an entire family if you knew how to stretch it. Mothers flaked the fish carefully, removing every tiny bone, often while listening to their children talk about school. Breadcrumbs, beaten eggs, minced onion, all mixed by hand. Small oval patties hit the hot cast iron skillet, sizzling into golden perfection. Served with mashed potatoes and green beans, salmon croquettes were proof that creativity mattered more than money. Many families served them on Friday nights, turning humble ingredients into a comforting ritual that everyone came to expect. Creamed chipped beef on toast told a story of sacrifice and survival. Brought home by veterans after the war, this dish was filling, affordable, and deeply familiar. Dried beef was shredded into a creamy white sauce made from butter, flour, and milk, then ladled generously over thick slices of toast. It stuck to your ribs. Kids joked about it, but they always cleaned their plates. Fathers recognized it instantly, a taste of their past, now served safely at home. It was comfort food born from hardship, reminding families how far they had come. Few meals defined weeknight cooking like tuna noodle casserole. Egg noodles, canned tuna, cream of mushroom soup, frozen peas, all combined into one dish that could bake while homework was finished at the kitchen table. The breadcrumb topping turned crisp and golden, while the inside stayed creamy and warm. It wasn't fancy, but it tasted like effort. Church potlucks always featured multiple versions, each family insisting theirs was best. And somehow, leftovers always tasted better the next day. When families wanted something that felt a little special, they turned to beef stroganoff. Thin strips of affordable beef, mushrooms, paprika, and sour cream came together in a rich sauce spooned over egg noodles. It felt elegant without being expensive. Recipes clipped from women's magazines brought a touch of Europe into suburban kitchens. This was the meal you served when neighbors came over, proof that you could make something impressive without leaving home. And then there was meatloaf with mashed potatoes, the heart of American home cooking. Every mother had her own version, breadcrumbs or crackers, onion or no onion, ketchup glaze or gravy. Some hid hard-boiled eggs inside for a surprise. Served with fluffy mashed potatoes and pan gravy, it was filling, reliable, and deeply comforting. Cold meatloaf sandwiches the next day were sometimes even better. Children watched their mothers mix it by hand, learning without realizing it. Sunday meant pot roast. Started early, slow cooked while families got ready for church. Tough cuts of beef transformed into fork-tender perfection, surrounded by carrots, potatoes, and onions soaked in rich gravy. The smell lingered all day, wrapping the house in warmth. Leftovers became Monday's hash or sandwiches. This meal taught patience, the idea that good things take time. When one chicken had to feed many mouths, chicken and dumplings came to the rescue. The bird simmered slowly, creating a broth rich with flavor. Dumplings were dropped in, and the lid stayed firmly closed, a rule no one dared break. When the pot was finally opened, steam filled the kitchen, carrying the scent of love and tradition. Recipes were passed down, fiercely defended, and proudly claimed as the best. Shepherd's pie brought old-world roots to American tables, ground meat cooked with vegetables, topped with creamy mashed potatoes, then baked until golden. Simple ingredients, layered with care. Some mothers made individual portions, making each family member feel special. It was practical, filling, and quietly elegant. Few dishes felt as indulgent as chicken fried steak. Cube steak pounded thin, breaded, fried until crispy, then smothered in peppery white gravy. Served with mashed potatoes and green beans, it turned ordinary evenings into something memorable. The pounding of the meat was almost therapeutic. A release before dinner brought everyone back together. Friday night slowly changed with fish sticks and French fries, frozen, easy, kid-friendly. One oven, minimal cleanup. Mothers appreciated the break, children loved the crunch. This meal marked the beginning of convenience foods, a small shift that would eventually change kitchens forever. Sloppy Joes brought laughter to the table. Messy, sweet, tangy ground beef piled onto buns. Extra napkins required. Perfect for birthdays and casual dinners. No rules, no formality, just fun. Cold days called for beef stew. Browning the meat, slow simmering, vegetables added at the right moment. The house filled with aroma all afternoon. Patience turned simple ingredients into something deeply satisfying. Few meals felt more celebratory than fried chicken and biscuits. Buttermilk-soaked chicken, cast-iron skillets, flaky homemade biscuits, Sunday dinners, church picnics, friendly arguments over whose recipe was best. These were meals that became family legends. Macaroni and cheese wasn't just for kids. Real cheese grated by hand. Creamy sauce, buttery breadcrumbs. Children hovered nearby, sneaking tastes. When it came out of the oven, bubbling and golden, it felt like a reward. Cabbage rolls told stories of immigration and tradition. Cabbage leaves wrapped around seasoned meat and rice, simmered in tomato sauce. Time-consuming, but worth it. Grandmothers taught daughters, who taught their daughters. Cooking as heritage. Chili, ham, and bean soup, beef and barley soup, meals that simmered all day, tasted better tomorrow, and fed more than just hunger. They fed security. Pork chops with applesauce balanced savory and sweet. Fall apples, cinnamon in the air. Children peeling fruit at the counter. Corned beef hash turned leftovers into something new. Crispy, golden, cooked in well-seasoned cast iron. Proof that nothing was wasted. Stuffed bell peppers brought color to the plate. Garden vegetables, carefully prepared, each one its own complete meal. And finally, chicken pot pie. Flaky crust, creamy filling, steam rising when cut. A meal that said, someone spent all day making this for you. These foods weren't just recipes. They were routines. They were lessons. They were love, served hot. And before you go, I want to hear from you. Which of these meals brought something back for you? Was it a Sunday dinner that filled the whole house with smells? A simple weekday meal that always showed up right on time? Or a dish that only appeared on special occasions and felt like a gift? Share your memory in the comments. These stories matter, and someone reading them might remember something they thought was long gone. If moments like this feel familiar to you, make sure to like the video and subscribe to A Merry Retro. This channel is about remembering the small, everyday things that shaped our lives and keeping those memories alive together. Thank you for watching.